Why does anybody start their business? And I pose that question to a lot of builders, remodelers, young entrepreneurs. And I find it interesting that a lot of them will struggle to give me a solid answer on that. Why do you think that is? Today's guest is a business coach, author, and fellow podcaster. He's an expert at helping contractors find purpose, so they're not constantly consumed with putting out fires or wearing too many hats. It is my pleasure to welcome Scott Beebe, founder of My Business on Purpose. Scott's a good friend, a colleague, a business coach, strategist, and trainer. He is very passionate about helping small business owners liberate themselves from the chaos. Scott, we're kicking off the new year here. How is life down in beautiful Bluffton, South Carolina?
Life is full, and I'll say enriching. I heard somebody say recently that they have suspended the use of the four-letter B word, busy. They won't use that anymore, and instead, they see themselves in a position of constantly learning. So I'll say, yeah, it's full. At the time of this recording, we send both of our boys back to college today, and so we've had a rich time with our kids over the last month or so at break. And it's just been great.
You and I have known each other for quite a few years. We've collaborated together on industry events, seminars. We're going to see each other soon at the International Builder Show in Vegas. That's not very far away. And you have been a repeat guest on the Builder Nuggets podcast, which I co-host with Dave Young, and you have always delivered great advice and insight. So I'm excited to have you join me here for the first in a series of video interviews I'll be working on with Custom Builder Online. And the plan is for us to release these every other month. We're going to discuss a broad range of topics from business matters, best practices, building science, leadership, and a whole lot more. So thanks for stepping up and helping me kick things off.
Of course, man. Always willing to be your guinea pig on these projects. I love it. I love the fact that you're always trying new stuff.
It's a ton of fun, and I appreciate your time for it. So we were thinking that to kick it off for the first topic, it was going to be start with why. I mean, I think most people are familiar with the book out there, the concept of it. But for me, it's been a little bit of, over the last year or so, I've been putting even more thought behind that. And, why does anybody start their business? And I pose that question to a lot of builders, remodelers, young entrepreneurs. And I find it interesting that a lot of them will struggle to give me a solid answer on that. Why do you think that is?
I think it was Michael Gerber who said it. If you don't write it down, it doesn't exist. If you don't write it down, something, I forget what it was, and then we've adapted it to if you don't write it down, it doesn't exist. I think a lot of the times and reasons that contractor owners, entrepreneurs in general, tend to hem-haw a bit when it comes to this idea of mission, or expand it to the futuristic looking vision, or the filtration of values, is because a lot of times we've got these swirling thoughts in our head, but we never make the time to sit and write them down. It's amazing. In fact, I just went through this exercise last week for myself. At least once a year, usually twice a year, I'll go back and I'll do what we call a delegation roadmap. It's a tool that we built for our clients. We actually use it ourselves, where we'll go down and we'll, from scratch, write down every single task that we currently do in our business. If we're taking out the trash, you write it down. If you're vacuuming the rug, you write it down. If you're hanging 2x4s, you write it down. If you're coaching clients, everything that you do, you write it down. And we call it a day of reckoning. Like you gotta reckon with your own schedule because you're doing all this stuff. Well, a lot of the reasons that we don't have clarity on why we're doing what we're doing, let alone how we do what we do, that's usually, Duane, what we assume people are asking. They go, what do you do? We start to launch into telling them like what and how we do what we do.
Yeah.
Instead of, no, this is why I'm doing what we're doing. So you even mentioned at the outset, every ounce of my energy goes into our work for one sole purpose, and that's to liberate owners from chaos so that they can make time for the things that matter most. Why do I remember that? Why do you remember that about me? I've heard you say that multiple times about me, and we only talk a few times a year. How do you remember that about me? It's because it's written down and we repeat it over and over and over again, especially in the days we don't believe it.